Welcome everyone, Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about the Close Range Brawler, the SWAT class. We're going to talk about his powers, what his synergies are, and we'll also show gameplay examples of how to use him. This class will be all about getting up close and personal with enemies and quickly dispatching them using your significant close quarters advantages. Timestamps will be in the description if you want to see a specific section of the video. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, hit that like button, and if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button as well. Let's get started. SWAT's red powers provide passive benefits to his ability to siege buildings. He, like all other classes, will have a gun specialization that will give him bonus damage. Most of my games as SWAT, this gun has been an SMG, but I think I did have a game or two where his bonus was to an AR weapon. Ideally, you want it to be the SMG because he specializes in being close range and pushing people. But if it's the AR, not the biggest deal in the world. You'll probably just want to run that as well. His breach door ability gives him a significant buff to breaking and entering through doors and windows. All enemies in the room will be disoriented by a smoke screen and will take 40 damage. The SWAT class will then gain plus 20% movement speed, 20% damage, and plus 25 health for 5 seconds. This is his bread and butter ability, and anytime you enter a building that could have enemies inside, you should trigger this ability by either kicking a door open, or preferably, and I'll explain later why, breaking through a glass window. His improved hand grenade ability will grant you 2 hand grenades and backpack capacity, much like other grenade improving powers, and all of your hand grenades will now have a hearing impairment effect. This allows you to throw a grenade into a building prior to breaking and entering to provide even more disorienting effects to enemies who may be camping inside. His green power-ups focus on defense when sieging buildings. SWAT's natural home ground is indoors, although he can also get home ground fences instead, which I believe is much worse. I guess it's okay if you're in a suburban kind of area, but usually you want to be indoors. Regardless, whatever environment you are given, when inside that chosen environment, he will be dealing 10% additional damage. His close range defense ability reduces damage from all sources within 25 meters by 35%, which is a significant defense boost. He gains an additional defensive bonus from shotguns, gaining 45% damage reduction instead of 35%. This makes him very good against enemies when using an SMG, and especially when playing against the Shotgun Master class. He heavily counters those short-range weapon types, which are very good at dispatching enemies quickly, so that's an excellent defensive advantage to have. His improved parkour ability is the ability that I was referencing earlier. It allows him to be stealthier by reducing noise when breaking through a window with parkour. Anytime SWAT parkours, he will do so 30% faster and will also gain plus 30 health for 10 seconds after using a parkour. This is the primary advantage of why you would want to go through a window. You get that extra 30 HP when activating your breach door ability. It is important to make sure that you have this shield, as 30 HP will oftentimes be the difference between whether you live or whether you die. His blue power-ups focus on utility to boost his close range capabilities. Return Fire grants the SWAT class plus 20% damage for 5 seconds upon being hit. Now this has no cooldown, so you can have this up numerous times throughout a firefight. Close Quarters Combat Training grants plus 15% hip fire and shoulder fire accuracy, plus 15% fire rate, and plus 15% reload speed, just general combat enhancements to help you throughout the fight. Urban Warfare grants him plus 4 movement speed, or plus 4% movement speed rather, and plus 30% additional movement speed when on ladders and stairs. This is a huge part of SWAT's kit because it allows him to quickly run up on enemies and gap close. SWAT is all about being able to close in on enemies when fighting, and this movement speed allows him to get there quickly before he is killed. His ultimate is by far the strongest part of his kit. Blackout is an ability that has a brief delay of a second or two, but once it goes off, it completely blinds all players nearby the SWAT class. This ability will let you win 1v2 situations, as I will demonstrate later, if you are able to blind both enemies. It is a real game changer that makes him an instant win duelist in close quarters combat. It is worth noting, however, that this ability will also blind your teammates, so make sure they know when you're about to use it, otherwise you may be feeding them to the enemy. Combining your hand grenade hearing impairment effect with your natural noise reduction, boosting yourself by parkouring into a building or kicking a door in, and then having Blackout go off will leave your enemies basically as free kills, completely unable to identify your location as you run right up, and you shoot them before they regain their bearings. They will have little to no chance of fighting back against you because their only real option is to stall until your ultimate and all of your effects have gone away, and that is really hard to do because when you are completely blinded, you can't even really tell where you should run. I've seen people run into walls, run into rocks. It's really tough when you're affected by Blackout. It's a game changer. So here are some clips to demonstrate the strength of the SWAT class. Classic SWAT play here. Teammate is down, they're rezzing. I just go right through the window, parkour. They do get the res off. It's a 1v2, but I have close range defense and a bunch of short range advantages, so I do manage to barely win. Right here, you'll see this is what it looks like when you kick it in. You got that cool little explosion, and then if anyone was in this room, they would take damage. Here you'll see how you play SWAT in an open field. You want to get close to an enemy using your high movement speed, hit him with your ultimate, aggressively push him. You're basically just going to fool psycho people with this class. Here you'll see a standard parkour giving me 30 additional HP in the form of a shield for 10 seconds. You want to make sure you do this anytime you are in a fight or about to be in a fight. This is what I call the old bait and swat. My teammate is getting pushed, he is at half health, he runs and hides. I bait him in to a close combat situation, and again, you win the 2v1 because you're playing SWAT. Here you will see a classic SWAT play. Now I know that there are two enemies up ahead. My teammate is straggling behind a little bit, but I don't care because I'm the SWAT class. I lead him with my ultimate. Now I pick off the one guy. The other guy is unable to defend his teammate or counterattack because he's completely blinded. He will hide, and then here I will take a clean 1v1, and again I'll win because of my close quarters advantages. And in this final clip, you'll see my teammate dies. I push with my SWAT ability. He counters with his own ultimate ability. No big deal here. He is going to leave and try to reset. My ultimate scared him off. This will be an opportunity to pick up my teammate and reset. So, all in all, what do I think about this class? I actually really like it. I love its playstyle. I love the aggression. You basically want to push people who are trying to hide or camp in buildings. It is the anti-camp class. Great short-range combat. It is all about being smart and positioning yourself in a place where you can reach an enemy before they can kill you. Because once you get up close and personal, you have significant advantages. This class requires a lot of pre-planning, a lot of thinking, and a lot of plotting about how you are going to get right up on an enemy. Very cool class. I love how it takes away the sort of senses of other people by removing their ability to hear, removing their ability to see, and then just being an absolute destruction derby class when it comes to breaking into buildings and homes. This is probably my favorite class right now. I definitely recommend you try it out. It can be a little clunky to use at first as you learn the timings, but after you learn the timings, I think this class is a powerhouse with its only real weakness being wide open, which, to be honest, almost every class suffers in the wide open areas except for the driver class. So, per usual, if you like this content, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button as well. And we'll see you next time.